Oh. Hello.
Hey,
We're
hey.
live.
We
Hi,
sure
Kira.
are.
Hi, Fanny.
Hello.
Hmm.
What's up?
I don't know what to say. What should I say? Nothing. All good because
I also don't know what
no,
to say.
we're
You're the only one to know.
I think
What's
the
up in
'90s taught
Benoit
us that
world?
what you say back is "what's up" like that, and then everyone.
I can
starts
say I
saying
was
it.
too young. I'm out of this one. I know about it, but I wasn't old enough for it to get count as a real memory.
Typical sayings,
12, 13. I'm not to say that anymore. It's enough. After 3, 4
Okay,
weeks.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, don't nobody
I don't know.
bust me. Nobody call the cops.
I will
okay?
now. The cup, the language cup.
Well,
Too early, everybody. It's 11 a.m. for me. Already had a cup of coffee. 8 for Kira and Fanny. What time is it?
It's 4 p.m.
For what?
Yeah.
And you agree? You said yeah. I'll come in.
Why not? Yes, of course.
It's 4
Penny's cool
a.m.
like that.
No,
No, 4
So-
p.m.
I'm later. I'm later. No,
It's not like
you're
in
good.
Asia or Australia or anything.
Not that far.
Designer wake up early. It's they start at
4
10.
a.m. would be next level.
Yeah, reading too many Fast Company blogs about routines.
Fast Company is still living and strong. It's a long time since
I have not seen. I've not come across a reference
Why
to them
wouldn't
actually in
it?
quite a while.
Fast
I haven't heard
Company.
of their going bankrupt or anything, or they're shutting down. So I'm assuming they're still there.
We're assuming.
Pasco. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the mix, I'm
Weird.
sure. But maybe there's a downtrend in the routine blog articles, and so we just don't see them come up.
Day in the life of a what do they call these people? Like highly effective people.
Oh, yeah.
Habits of highly successful people. That crowd.
Yeah.
A day in the life of one of those peeps.
Yeah. I bet those guys are always looking at their email, and that's the key to success.
Every 5 minutes. You lose an interval, you do 30 push-ups.
You do this. Yeah. Good stuff.
Okay, well, let's start this. And it's cutting a little bit. My internet is not quite good, so I'm catching glimpse here and there. So
Okay.
sorry. Well, let's talk this. I don't know even how to start this little live that we have. Just that we'll talk about how we can learn from real stuff, from real product, from and participating in them. We had a live maybe a couple of weeks ago. You can look it up on our YouTube channel, and we talked about a couple of things, how you can learn and grow as a designer, learn new skills, be more knowledgeable, leverage what's out there. But let's go deeper a little bit by being learning by using a little bit more. So we can just read and be sponges and just and not in our brain, in our USB port here, using some products and be engaged with the community and just to learn by being in the real life. Why not? I think it's a healthy gym to do as UX designer, to always use product, use stuff, talk to users. I found a big thread on Twitter about how to learn about how can you know more users, and they thought about surveys and things like that, and maybe just be with them, talk with them, and actually using it and be beside them. That's I think it's one of the best schools you can do. How to learn human is to be with you, I think. Well, so learning by examining real products. So who want to start? I can, and then we can build on that. Who want to start? Who want to talk about?
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, we're all.
yeah.
I feel like all of our perspectives on this are pretty connected. I feel like you can start. Yeah. Sorry, Kira.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, go ahead. That sounds great. I'm into that.
Okay, I'll start something. So I'll share a screen and you can stop me anytime. Let me share a screen. There's a button here, there's there. I'll share a window. So one of my, well, I did that since the beginning. I think, I'm in Quebec. So at one time, 20, 25 years ago, the Toile du Québec was kind of the Google of Quebec. Mostly all the
what?
websites were there.
Say it
The
again.
what?
Toile du
Quebec?
Québec.
Okay, I'm not
Do you-
familiar with that.
La Toile du Québec
No.
was a long time
Toile.
ago. Yeah.
Okay.
It was the Yahoo of Quebec in a way. And
Okay.
you had to manually add your own sites there. And yeah. I think I visit all the websites that exist in Quebec. I think I could say that at one point. I visit all the websites in the world. And so I just
Quite an
kept
achievement.
this happening. I'm not sure I can do that anymore. I can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to
Sure.
anymore.
Yeah. No.
Let's be real.
Exactly. And Product Hunt, I think it was, since forever. I think it's a well-known website and new products. You have to be on Product Hunt. If not, you don't exist. I think if you're launching something. Not quite, but Product Hunt is one of my multiple channels where I know about new products. I'm subscribed to a lot of startup combinator or startup venture groups or startups helping each other where they just announcing their new product. So I have a list, I have newsletter, I have a Twitter list just for that. But Product is a safe bet. You want to learn. This is where I'm going. And why I'm doing that, because, well, it just makes sense to learn about new trends, how people are trying, how kids are doing these days. I'm just going pretty much once a month, or when I have the newsletter, or when I need to productive procrastinate. Pretty work in a way.
Yeah.
So what I do most product, and I do a launch archive and choosing a month or something like that. You can see my screen. Oh, check if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see this new tab.
Yeah, we got it.
Great. And then I just choose, and then I try to see which one is the most popular, because if it's most popular, it means that there's something there. So I'm looking at this, and the one thing I'm trying to understand is, well, the tagline, because one thing I'm trying to learn is, well, what's the problem to fix? What to identify the problem that they're trying to solve. In fact, that's they are designing something that will fix a real problem first, and not just just having fun with. Right now, for example, in AI, it's kind of hard to know where they're innovating and where they're just bundling, creating stuff together and just adding another flavor of something. But how they are trying to solve a problem. So there's a lot of AI. It's not bad. And I'm trying also I'm more in enterprise UX. PNP is a little bit more about complex data stuff, big workflow and things like that. So things for consumer, I don't look at it too much, because I find that you can I don't know. I think you can launch something in the consumer product without having best practices. Do things with not that many best practices. You can just have fun, and people will I don't know, try it. But for feel that they need to be very efficient with the UI. They need to actually be act on it pretty quickly. If it's kind of hard to use a business product, I don't know. I feel like that much, and it's too diverse. What I want to know is how they are, fixing our own problems. Our complex stuff, data stuff, input, output, and not just fun things to have fun. So, for example, what can I do? So, blockchains can be very complicated. Answer product question using English is. What else? I don't know. So, news created, not useful. Oh, turn your spreadsheet into powerful apps without code. Oh, this is something I kind of love, and it's kind of complex to have inputs and outputs when you're trying to build something without code. I click on it, and the first line is what it will. It's an insight if I will spend more time on it or not. So today I'm setting announced a new data source integration for. So integration goals. We kind of love data table, spreadsheet, and transforming something, internal tools, things like that. For real, I never visit that. I don't know. It's not strict, what I'm saying. I'm looking also at the comment, because sometimes when you're launching a product, people will say, great app, great app, great app, great app, great app. But if people are using it, actually currently using it, that's more interesting for me. So feel like they are using it. It's not just launching something, it's a landing page. So great, I'll visit it. And this is where I'll sit down with a cup of coffee and think about, how they are, what's their story right now? What are you trying to convey? And I'll try to remember that. Anyway, so build custom web apps on top of Google data sheets. Okay, so what's the problem trying to solve? Someone has something in Google Sheet and they have to create an app on it, a better experience on it. Great. And the first thing I'm looking for is how I can use it. I not even looking at the landing page and all the information. I don't want to be biased. I just want to start using it, because I'm pretty sure their best feature and all. I don't care too much. I really want to jump in the pool and start something. So all the demo, all of this is not interesting. I want to make sure also if I understand. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'd say as well, like when I usually start a new like beta or join a thing, I usually also just try to record the onboarding process somehow, screenshot it, because you never get to see it again. So that's a move I do a lot.
Also. Yeah.
Great point.
Always. If you want to learn about onboarding, just sign up for every product on. First, well, good luck, and also just you'll need take some time off just to clean your email box in a week or two. You'll have a lot of email when you're onboarding on new things. Screenshot this. So now I'll try to sync up with just Google for fun, just to see if that's usable. And then the first couple of words you will use will tell me a lot about what kind of user experience they are doing. So they're asking me for me before trying something. Okay, I work for, we're a big company. My role is, I don't know, continue. Oh, come on. I'm doing that live, but I hate that right now. I just want to start using it. I'm using, I don't know, a little bit. For real? Okay.
It's good to know.
So then you keep clicking through and you get super mad. That's a typical onboarding experience.
Well, I think now I can use it. I can start using it. That's good. And the first thing I do, some designers just want to browse around. Well, if I do that, I don't know where to stop. I can be there for hours and hours. So my point is try how to use it, how to solve my own problem. I don't want to look at funny, great UI components or how they build it in a way. I really want to use it for me and see how, as soon as possible. This is how I'm doing it. And when I'm applying this and I see, a way, an interesting UI. Now this is where I screenshot and put it somewhere. And I love using Evernote just because it's saving the sources of my screenshot. And it's not just, somewhere with just screenshots. There's a link, there's a date, there's the content. So the goal is just to screenshot and forget about it. Screenshot, forget about it. Screenshot, forget about it. And because it will also, do some OCR. So I'm using, say if I'm screenshotting something about search, well, I will see a search over, because we'll just pop out the search text in the UI. So that's pretty much what I do. And what I'm trying also to have in my mind is to create a user flow. So I'm not drawing it, but I do draw I'm trying to understand what's the flow now. So now I see there's an onboarding. Now I have a page with templates. Now I'm trying to find the user flow. If I don't, for somewhat at the end of a first task, understand the user flow, well, I don't know.
Maybe it's a good thing.
Maybe.
Or maybe it's a horrible thing.
Exactly. So if I can't have a big picture of the product, if I don't understand all steps, how I did it, have a feel of it, understand what the work, the flow of a product. So that's my first thing I'm doing, and so now I'm using it, actually connecting with right now I'm bullshit. I'll try to come up with a use case, a real use case, try it, and do some screenshottings. And again, now after a while, are they really trying to solve a problem that they offered me at the beginning? So, in product on the other landing page, they asked me a couple of questions. Is it the real problem they're trying to solve? And now I'm trying to score them in my head just a little bit. Are they using? And one thing I love doing when I'm entering a new product is how many best practices or patterns they are using, or if they are trying to be smart and like bringing new patterns and things like that. So if they are applying common UX patterns, I love it for a new product. They need to grow fast and scale fast and apply a couple of things and work and focus more on the outcome. A new UI, a new way to do that. And for me, it's more engaging if they're trying to, date picker, this kind of data grid, this time, but you'll get your outcome pretty quickly, efficiently, and it will work. And then the improving one little thing, one little pain point. This is where I have 2 cups of coffee with a new product. Because that's pretty much what we're doing at PM, not pretty much, sorry, but a lot of time we're connecting dots together. So understanding how a new product is trying to connect, different patterns, different behavior together. Oh, that's delicious. It's a delicious research and analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
What's the or is there a product that you've joined the beta of at like a really, really, really infancy stage and stuck with it?
A couple. Well, my love for automations, and make.com was and see maybe a couple of years ago it was called Integromat, and it was very basic, a little bit like soft. They started with cut a Google sheet with something else, and I just love quickly how I used and the experience was interesting in terms of models, things like that, in models, and say, oh, you're trying to achieve something very complex by connecting different data source and having models on top of this, an organic way to move between data points, and say, oh, I've seen other enterprise UX badly. Oh, you're being smart about it. Interesting. And because of the experience, I subscribed to your Twitter feed, and they added an integration in pretty much every week, and they announced it. That so they grow so fast that at one time I just had ideas and ideas and ideas on how I can automate things. This is the best, I think, learning about the user experience of an app, because they are growing with you in a way. And I learned so much. I learned about some mistakes they did. For example, they said, you need to save. You save when you need. And I found out a couple of weeks after, they said that, the community said no, saved. For many reasons, because sometimes we're spending an hour or two on automation trying to connect it with different data. So, if we forget to hit save, there's a bigger problem. And so they tried a couple of ways to have an auto the feedback, how they putting that. And I learned so much live with a real product. And love to design in a way. Design with the community, put something out, try if it's what's working, what's not working. And I think I learned more than any other, library post about how to give a feedback about how to save. And and because I know the history, I kind of know their decision-making process with the community. That's kind of gold for UX design, I think.
Yeah, big time. How about you, Fanny?
Yeah. Well, this resonates a lot with what I've experienced too, like especially joining the Reader beta, which is an app of the Readwise team. And that was exactly it, like getting a glimpse of like how they make their decisions, how they prioritize feature requests. Because in the particular case, in my case, I don't know how early I was, but I basically joined the beta that was basically you joined the Discord, and then you got onboarding done from someone else, and you were then accountable to onboard someone new the next time. So they didn't have like a UI for the onboarding yet. So you just basically got access to the Discord, were assigned a certain time slot, and then an existing beta member, like beta tester, would onboard you, right? So that was fun because you could automatically connect with people who are interested in that product. Yeah.
Wait, that's
You were about
very
to say?
interesting. So you had to onboard someone. So you kind of, what do you have? You had some resources, some materials?
Exactly.
Come up.
So it still is, but it was a pretty small team. And one of the roles that they were investing very much in at the beginning was a community manager. So this girl would create resources for us to be able to onboard new people. Like she had a Loom, going through all the specs or all the features that they want us to present to other people, right? And a checklist, like PDF, to accompany your little session. So, and what's fun is like if you join something like this out of passion, like interest, like if you're really into this product, you will care a lot to explain it well, and like to make sure the person has the proper experience, and like you're both like excited about this subject matter and like the functions of this app. So it's like a really special kind of thing, and and it's amazing to see how they're leveraging on that, like the kind of built-in interest of the community, instead of just kind of investing so much energy and time into building an onboarding that might fail, or like not fail, but like might miss the mark a bit, or and like testing that they kind of save time
and strengthen the community big time, because it's
not really solid.
Yeah, it's not about the like, oh, they're the big brother thing, right? Community needs to be integrated. The members themselves need to have like at least loose relationships or like some buddies or,
Exactly.
you know, like, so like then you got your 2 buddies out of the gate for sure. The person that
and
onboarded
more,
you.
because the more onboardings you do to new people, like you get stickers. Where's my sticker?
You get stickers.
You
We
get a
got
sticker
you.
like
We
this.
got you.
Like, you know, it's so fun. I actually have 4 stickers.
I'm curious now.
And then some people receive like a hoodie, you know, when they become like veterans and they onboarded like 10, 15 new people, they get like real swag. And then they put it on Twitter, and like that kind of helps build the hype, right? Although this particular product, I think this hype would have built itself no matter what, because it's so like it's solving such a specific problem that like it's gonna find its people no matter what. But they really kind of leveraged it, like made it even more powerful. So onboarding was handled that way. That was really interesting. Yeah.
About onboarding, that's from a designer perspective. So you onboard a couple of people, you had some materials. Have you any, you know, did you add on it? Did you had new, news, how you kept up with new features and why? To explain it, that's intriguing for me.
Yeah, interesting. It's a good question. So in the kind of window of time that I was giving onboardings, there were not a lot of big feature changes. I'm guessing by the time that they had like major updates, they would change that Loom video, for example, or that checklist. But they really cut this onboarding, really covered like basic grounds. Like it was really just kind of, let's get you set up, because basically the onboarding is basically a way for you to just have access to the platform. Like the way it worked, you had to connect with an existing app that you would use, like for example Pocket or Read Later, like what's called the other one. Anyways, it was based on an integration. Yeah, Instapaper. So you already had content in there, and so they really just wanted us to onboard people with like the basic kind of wayfinding. Like here's your nav, here are the keyboard shortcuts, the main keyboard shortcuts that you want to use. Stuff like search is offline first, like you can search for stuff offline, like the basic kind of elements, and then the fancier stuff they would update us on. I want to say on Twitter, but that's not true. Oh yeah, their main communication channel after that was like these really long newsletter updates, and they were like 4,000 word emails that I was so excited to read at every time, just because it got so technical. They would mention the devs working on which feature, like what technical challenge were encountered, like I don't know, it was really like you really felt like you were part of the team, right? And so when you would use a feature, you would think of like, oh, that was Artem, like, oh, that was that other guy. I don't know, they made it really fun to kind of, you belong to this team almost. So that also when you filed bugs, they each appropriate dev would reply. Like, you know what I mean? Like if it was kind of a designy ticket problem, like the designer would like jump on the thread and like tell you about the fix that they have in mind. Or anyways, what were you about to ask?
I have more questions because
he's perked up.
Onboarding someone, okay, you're showing them how they're using it. Did at some point did you met with them again, see how they are using it, and giving you more feedback? Did how it changed their life or solve their problems, or
as an onboarder? Not as an onboarder, but as a user. Like no, for onboarding, I would have the 15-minute session with a particular new kid on the block. And then we'd have like a bit of a hangout after that session with the founder. So we could ask like more roadmap-y questions, like vision-y questions. And then everyone would leave. And then maybe you're lucky to like re-stumble on that person that's going to do the next onboarding, but it wasn't like follow up with your onboardee. It wasn't that far-fetched.
That would be a lot to ask.
Yeah.
Like now you
it's
guys
already
are best
quite a
friends.
To be like, welcome to the app, but you're going to onboard someone new, like at least one person. Like not everyone's ready for that, right? So that's the thing when I emailed, because this whole thing started when I DM'd the founder after having read an interview about him and his app, and I was like, okay, he's like, he seems super passionate about this. Like, this app looks really cool. Let me just DM. Like, I wholeheartedly like think what you're doing is really cool. And then he was like, well, yeah, you want to join the beta? And why did I go there? What did you just say?
Well,
Sorry, Kira.
What? Oh, I said it was a lot of commitment.
Yeah, and then he said, I know it's not for everyone, but the way our beta works is that like you're gonna get onboarded by someone and you're gonna have to onboard someone new. So I feel like even at that point, not everyone goes beyond that wall. Like it can be a bit of a make or break for some people that are shy or whatnot. So that's interesting too.
What did you learn about what did you after the UX designer going through that,
changing my craft? Well,
yeah.
what I learned to appreciate is like every team gets to choose where they put their energy. For them at that point, it didn't make sense at all to build an onboarding UI and an onboarding experience. Like it didn't make sense. And it wouldn't be appropriate for every type of product in every type of industry. Like Reader has like a really specific niche, and they know that there are so many friction points in the reading experience of their audience that they like it's smarter for them to just fix the reading experience and not like invest time in like all the kind of surrounding meta UX, right? And so I found that super interesting. I was like, and they ran with that for like a year. They just had an onboarding now because they went the private beta went public, still a beta, but now anyone can sign up. So they have an onboarding. So I haven't done it yet, but they run with that for a long time.
You were inspired by the manual onboarding. I hope the public onboarding. I hope they will be inspired by the manual onboarding. Yeah.
What I know is that they still leverage this like the community manager girl is still very much creating content for like to go like the extra mile for the kind of power user. So they have a YouTube channel with like a very few videos that explain to you how to make the most use of like different feature sets. So it's still not autonomous, right? The app, you still kind of have to have this email that tells you about the feature, this YouTube Loom video that tells you about the feature. But that's how power users they are.
You have access to a pool of users if you want to do any the infrastructure is set up. If you want to test something, you
could like do it you could start the day and be like, I'm not sure about this feature, and then at the end of the day you have talked to 10 people about it and you're like, I am gonna like do a new version tomorrow, or this version is good, like let's push it. Like that's an amazing position to be in, right? Frick.
Also just the prioritization of their feature requests, like because that's what Benoit, you were kind of mentioning. Again, I forget, but there was a segue there. Since they get this feedback coming from everywhere, from the Discord, from the email replies, from Twitter, from the app itself, it comes from everywhere, and they get to see. So I don't know how they manage it, but they get to see where the hotspots are in the heat map of feedback. So it's so easy for them to know what to work on first. So like that I found really interesting, because some of the features that they would release, for example, in my use cases, I'm like, why did they prioritize that and not like that other thing that for me would be game changing? And I always take a bit of a step back. Like, I know this comes from actual data of the actual users, so I forgive them,
Yeah, and it's cool because like you see. Oh, sorry.
No.
I think it's cool because it's not, the success of a product is not based on like you have a good idea, great. It's also like solving the right problem in the right way, using your resources so that you don't go out of business. Like how many nice apps that you started with or joined the beta, you were like, I love this thing. They spent resources on stuff that doesn't matter, and now they don't exist. Like there's so many on that list. And so it's really cool to see the actual functioning of the product team in that like super scrappy startup context.
Exactly.
I know it was a wake-up call for a lot of designers to be involved in this kind of a betas and group. And I remember, working with, big corporate companies and they were engaged in a couple of products that they love. And you just realize that, well, I didn't talk last trimestral or last quarter. And they do like once a day. There's maybe doing. So I think for design and understanding, the pace, also the mindset of, getting feedback and co-creating with people will be kind of a wake-up call, and maybe they will say, oh god damn, I cannot just do a user test every 3 months. It's no, it's bad. And maybe the fear of seeing other people do faster and cheaper could be a great learning experience for a lot of people.
Yeah, and make people just feel it's possible. I think that's part of it sometimes on these product teams, right? Or in larger companies. You just don't think it's possible. It's like, oh God, I couldn't possibly like find people and blah, blah, blah. It's like the automatic reflex. I need to talk to somebody about this. Like I need to talk to users right now. It's like something these guys would have, and it just right at their fingertips. Like pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And you're Kira,
Cool.
if with all of this tactics or exercise that you do to friendly products, or
well, yeah, I think that for certain things, like I will take screenshots, write it down, like map the user flow or something, but that's usually for a flow that I'm not familiar with, or something I'm working on right now. So I don't know, file upload pattern or something like that. I would like document it. And I think I've learned a lot from like onboarding different products in the finance realm as well. Like I just join all of these different ones to just see like how are they actually handling this stuff. And if you capture them and they do go out of business, then you at least have like a record of the thing that happened. And one thing that can be super nice to kind of break down is like, you liked an experience, it was really smooth. Why? How was it smooth? What was actually good about that thing? Like, that invisible design thing that people talk about. So sometimes I'll be like, hold on, how did they do that so well? I feel like I've tried to do this and it sucked. And so what I'll do there is just like screenshot the thing or record it and just rewatch, or just go through and analyze kind of piece by piece every step, every micro interaction, just try to understand what were the default selections, what were the like little tiny behaviors that made it like a bit smoother. And sometimes I can take away from that like a tactic in my own interaction design for like later, or visual design, I guess, things like that. But you do have to notice it to be able to do that. And I guess it does have to be something special or something you have your eye on or something you're curious about to be kind of prompted to do that. So there's an aspect of awareness. And
how do you activate that? How you switch between looking around and then analyzing what's the trigger here? Because you don't understand the why, because it's new, because it's fixed experience before. How you switch, your mental mode?
I think it's just interest. Like,
oh, you do need interest.
Yeah, like because sometimes you go through different products and you are just sleeping. So I think your point about it, solving a real problem for you and stuff like that, Benoit, is really good here, because like I'm bad at paying attention to things I'm not interested in, which I think pretty much most people are, but I'm really bad at it. So, I've always got a few like embers burning about things that I want to like figure out or do better or might have coming
Mm.
up and things like that. So it's really sort of biased towards the current moment. So there's in that process, it's not very comprehensive. It's not like, okay, I'm gonna like map out all these types of flows because I know they're gonna be in this product. I sort of apply that lens and novelty. When you do see something new
Novelty.
and you're like,
Mhm.
okay. So that perks
Yeah.
up my brain as well.
You said something about the why, finding the why. And using a product, you're finding something cool or different,
Mhm.
and you want to step back and ask why they did it that way. Do you do
Yeah.
that, loudly? Do you, step back? Do you write it? How do you ask the why? Because something like, oh, they did it that way. I don't know why, but okay, cool. But you're saying you're
Mhm.
trying to find why they did it that way. Do you have any, in your mind? Do you go through, any kind of a, an area or something?
Yeah, so we as part of I don't know, the way I've designed or like thought about design has always been that, I got taught really early on in my design career that like if you don't have a reason why you did it, then if you can't articulate that, then it's out, Instagram or reality or whatever it's called, or Instagram or it didn't happen. So like reason why or it didn't happen, I guess. And I think too, when we go into redesign projects, we have to infer or estimate the why on a lot of
Mm.
questions for things we can't actually get information on. So I do try to, when I am looking at stuff like that, I do try to infer the design rationale and try to guess what it was, and try to imagine what it was, whether that's
Yeah.
whole bunch of different reasons. So try to imagine what the mind of the designers were when they created the thing
Mm.
or built the thing. And that kind of automatic question of like, why, what's the rationale, why, can also be a good lens to apply, because you easily apply it when the design's bad, right? You're like,
Mhm.
but why? And you yell it into the sky. You get really mad. But to actually be a
For
better designer, you should also ask why about the good stuff.
and you ask why 5-6 times. That's great classic things. Why? And I find out for a new product what question I can ask myself to find a why. Because just asking,
Mm.
universe will not help me. Or look at it for an hour. Is a couple of questions. So for me, is okay. How much time do you like that for the new product? That's
Mhm.
kind of interesting for me. And also, what influenced the design? That can have
Mhm.
multiple hypotheses. So are they influenced by using a framework? I've seen a lot of new
Mhm.
products say, oh, good.
Mhm.
So they made choice to leverage this specific design system, but why this specific design system? And they're influenced by being very cool, being influenced by having, in AI right now, I see weirdly new UI where the text is slowly coming up like someone is typing it. Okay, so they were influenced by
Wonder
something
why.
trendy.
Mhm.
Can't think of anything
And
trendy in that area right now, but
and so you're in the enterprise UX, and slowly the interface is oh, come on. But anyway, I mean, what's the influence here?
Mm.
Helping a lot to understand what kind of
yeah.
design decision they made. Is it because they want to be first? Is it because they want to be very smooth? Is it? I've seen. I've tried something on product on yesterday, and the onboarding was every time I touch a button, there's a little something narrow, an haptic, a feedback, a sound. Everything is vibrating in my office. So that means that they launch a product and they just find out that people don't know how to use it. Oh, so why? The developer just launch the thing as soon as possible and put, the design layer on top of it, and the only thing that they can do, because it's too complex, add feedbacks and tips and things like that.
Oh yeah, those
So,
things.
Oops, sorry. Too excited. Oh, yeah, it's vibrating everywhere. My so how it would be influenced, and sometimes I see that design are coming from the Apple world, sometimes the Droid world, and they are seeing things differently. So it's not a design, and sometimes a team of designers. So there's discrepancy, different type of experience through the app, because every designer has their own. So just understanding how they are, what was and how they would be influenced, helped me a lot for new products. Yeah, the budget.
Yeah. And startups are so cheeky too. They love to just copy their competitor as well on some stuff. I've seen it. So, I mean, I've been asked to do it a lot of times. So I know this is the case. So like these guys just do that, like, but it's on ours. Like, oh God, do you even know that their thing works?
It makes me think of, I think like a bit before Christmas, like when ChatGPT was coming out and everyone had access. No, before everyone had access, like it was kind of, everyone was talking about it as the next thing to just plug into your app and like just have some ChatGPT in there. And then again, Reader, they came out super quick with like a bunch of little places where you can leverage ChatGPT. And when they sent the big email update about that, I reread it like 3 times, and it's like many thousand words, because they explained their rationale, basically their design rationale, so well. They really went into details. Like, first of all, why are we even going into this kind of craze of the AI, the language model? Because these reasons. And it was like super on point. And then this is why we've made it into like this format and this little tool and this little widget, and you can access it from here and there, and that's why. Like, I hadn't understood what LLMs were before I read that email. And like it was just kind of, it all kind of came together so well. And like it didn't feel at all that like we're just jumping on the wagon because everyone's talking about it and we just want AI in here.
We want to be cool.
There really was something to solve, and like they made it super explicit with that update. Like that was really interesting.
That's a good point. I forgot, but sometimes I'm reading the release notes. If you have or things like that, you look at the release note,
Absolutely.
and you kind of feel how they build it. What was the bricks? What's the foundation? Okay, they start with this. Good release notes, always, but not always. Maybe you have news release at the same time. They explain it. They have some details, because at the beginning you want to be transparent and open, and show why. So the release notes are, or any things like what you said, precious.
They can be great. Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I only get into Figmas because I'm like, they're gonna do something crazy next. So I always like hop onto those ones. But like, have you ever seen release notes for a Google Suite product?
Yes, I think I have.
Have
like,
you?
Mean, are they ugly as hell?
I'm
Is
like,
that what you mean?
Yeah, like they're not getting me excited about what's happening in the calendar or whatever. Like they're just over it. But that's so interesting because it's like something you use all the time. And
I reading the release note of Google Reader, and I love that he added. And one time the release note of Google Reader. What?
That was the biggest like loss of the internet. Like I feel like everyone still talks about it.
We're all scarred for life.
Yeah, no, really.
They're investing in Google Images at the search. They're investing in a Google Reader. Just put some money on your Google Scribbles to Reader.
We're all upset about it still. I remember, I do think I read about when they retired Google Circles. Was it
Google,
the social media thingy?
Yeah, the Google. What was it again? I don't think it's
What
circles.
it is?
I'll search for it. It's,
My brother had that. Google.
Okay, I'll
Spaces?
Google it.
Oh, what was it? Yeah.
Go.
Shit, I forget.
Google Plus.
Google Plus.
Yeah. Interesting that they couldn't pull that off. But you
I mean,
can't,
you can't do
again,
everything.
everybody has resource limitations.
Yes, even Google.
And and even if you're a big brand,
Testing
like
Google
not
Plus
everything's
before.
going to resonate. Yeah, did you like it?
Well, I
What?
you kind of smart UI, and I love that he improved it very fast, very quickly, because invest so much, invest pretty much everything into Google Plus, and so you would be able, you could see improvement day to day because you had to catch up in a way. And so that was an interesting experience, just to see, okay, cards everywhere now. Okay, Google is all about cards, things, and here's part links. So it was. That's why using it, really using a new product and looking at it as a designer, saying why you're doing it, and really apply yourself into understanding what influence, why you're doing it, but also solve it yourself, your own problem. It's kind of I feel you have to, because it's too easy to just look at it and say, nah, I could do better. I don't care about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's same on the side of it's just made me think about, with all this beta stuff, it's like you submit feedback, maybe you participate in an onboarding, you try the thing out, you log a bug, all that kind of stuff. Have you guys ever been a user testing participant?
I did that recently.
Recently?
Oh yeah.
I think for me,
sorry.
I think the only time I almost did, they kicked me out because I was a designer. And they didn't want
probably smart
technical, professional input. They wanted Monsieur Madame tout le monde, like anyone else but us, but like professionals. So I don't think so.
I did it. Well, how can I say? When you're facilitating a workshop, I did that for many years, and someone said, cannot be a good facilitator if you're not a good participant. If you're an asshole as a participant, don't think you'll be better. So for me, it was a little wake-up call on being a good user tester. And so I did that with Miro, lately ClickUp, also the new ClickUp AI for fun. And I think I was the best, user testing. Because
I think it was the best.
So
straight up.
I'll talk about, I never, for example, I never said, I would like to, that's how I used it. So,
Oh, exactly. And you didn't say specific suggestions. You're like, we need a modal window here.
Exactly. I said, this is how I fix it. This is my problem. This is how
as a user, blah, blah, blah. So that
blah,
blah, blah.
Give them the stories, right? Straight up. As a user, I want this feature to do this because of that.
And
love that.
Speak out loud of every step that I do. And they don't have to say it and all.
Oh my God, this is award-winning stuff, Benoit. I think we might have to get you like a trophy or something.
They probably still talk about it internally. Remember that guy?
Remember that guy?
Love that guy.
Well, it's funny because they think it's the best thing to do, to learn about you. It's their priority, and they have to do it, and they don't even give me a $20 Amazon cards. Come on, I'm trying to solve you. And you're investing a Starbucks cards for me. Give me more. I'm giving you.
Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable.
But being a user tester is kind of interesting to see their train of thoughts, how they ask. Again, it's all about how they are making decision and what kind of focus do they have and what they are focusing on. So product, a new product. So they have, I hope that's why it's so easy. You have one focus, one goal. It's hope, not 12. And you have 12, things you want the user to do. Good luck. You have too much money, I think. So it's easier to frame what's the problem, the one problem they want to try to fix it, how they will be able to fix it, and how they are saying did it. That's why it's a it's university of life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we
spend an hour.
That's great.
On that.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll do other show and share about how we learn. That was just a little preview of a series, I think, a show and share about how we are learning, how we are getting better at UX design, our craft, how we work better with our stakeholders and all. So if you have any comments or things you want type of subject or topic around learning UX in general, please comment on it. Contact us. We're on Twitter, we're on email, we're on pretty much everywhere. You know how to reach us, and we'll think about it. But we'll spend an hour here and there for the next year, just talking about tips, how we do, how we grow. And thank you, Kira. Thank you, Fanny. That was lovely. And
Yeah, thanks you guys.
Thank you.
I learned.
I know. It's meta. It's great.
Crazy.
Have a wonderful day and see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Ciao.